I wanted to show you real quick this website that I've been using for 23 years now. It's called Astrodinst. You can find it astro.com simply. When I first started, I was getting the DIENST. I changed it to Astro. The way I said it, I said Astro Die N Street Dienst. Anyway, that's a little shortcut that I did, but you no longer have to do that because it's astro.com. It's the easiest way to get to the website. There's a plethora of information here on this website, and I wanted to share with you because it's been beneficial to me in regards to my journey with astrology. So the first thing I want to share with you, I want to start with the top here. I want to share with you that it's in many different languages. You can see it's in Dutch, Danks, English, Espanol, Frances, Italiano, Netherlands, Portugal, Turkey, Pike, I'm not sure what that is, Chinese and Japanese, I assume. I need to learn those in the future. There's a shopping. You can even purchase charts, literary translation charts, and circle charts as well here. This My Astro right here, you can create a user profile. It's something that I definitely suggest that you do. You create a free registered user profile, and it allows you to hold up to 100 charts free of charge. There's preferences and subscriptions. You can log into an existing registered profile. But this is the guest. I'm under the guest. You see here it says, hello guest user, welcome to My Astro. So this is My Astro. I got my girlfriend and myself in here. I'm going to go back to the home screen. If you just click on the sun, it'll bring you right back to the home screen rather. I wanted to share with you and start at the top up here. This hamburger, if you will, or 3 lines, if you click on it, there's a plethora of information over here as well. There's free horoscopes at a glance. There's personal daily horoscopes, love, children, locational, traditional horoscope drawings. This is the area that you can shop around and get personal reports, if you will. All about astrology. This is the gold mine, one of them on this website. Understanding astrology. All about astrology. There's basics here. Right? An excellent way for beginners and those that have just begun. There's even literature that talks about it. If you're not familiar with the circle wheel and you just wanted to read some articles that we're talking about, there's some well-known astrologers that are on here. Even the Mountain Astrologer, which has been around for a long time. Career Astrologer, Time Lords magazine. And there's just a plethora of information over here that you can look through. If you go to Astrology Basics, it has an introduction. And this introduction here is pretty good. It has a table of content. These are the basics that you need to know, memorize. It would be good to memorize them. It seems like it's a lot of information, but it's like riding a bike, I say. And, you have training wheels when you start riding the bike. Once you learn these basics, if you will, you can take the training wheels off and you can go off and you can start reading astrological charts. Of course, there's a lot more to it in regards to reading astrological chart when it comes to predictions, but you'll have a good base. It also has the symbols here. If you forget the symbols, you can always use this as a reference point, if you will. Okay, let's go back to the home screen because I want to continually flip through here to show you how to navigate through this website here. All about astrology. Let's go back here. We have understanding astrology. We have astrology basics. They have introduction to astrology. We also have the planets continued, elements, signs, house system, houses, rulers, and aspects. This is really where you want to be. I'm going to show you real quick how to get there. The hamburger, and you go to all about astrology, and you go to understanding astrology, and then you click on, well, it wasn't that, excuse me. Let's go back here. Astrology basics, first steps in astrology. There is, where did I go? Introduction to astrology. Okay, here it is, the introduction. Under astrology basics and all about astrology. A perfect way to get your feet wet in that regard. Like I said, there's also articles that you can find, and you can always click this home button here. It'll bring you right back to the beginning. Now, they have the best time for the best moments for you, free horoscopes, daily horoscopes, chart calculations. This is what I'm going to show you here in this video. Make sure you smash the subscription button if you're wanting to be a part of this channel and learning more about your astrological chart, or how to read your astrological chart, if you will. Current planets. This is awesome in regards to always being able to reference where the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn are located by degree, arc minute, and arc second, if you will. You can also find that up here at the top of the screen. It's accessible for you to find it quickly. If you click on that, it'll show you a pop-up window right there. You notice that it's here and it's also here. So I find that a benefit in that you can just click anytime and just get the current position of the planets. Now, I do want to bring attention, while I'm here, I want to bring attention to universal time. What is universal time? It refers to a time scale called Coordinated Universal Time, UTC, which is the basis for the worldwide system of civil time and is therefore the international time standard. So as you can see, that astrology is connected to all over the world, as well as its connection to astronomy, if you will. If I'm going a little bit too slow, I'm going to go as quick as I can. If I'm going too slow, you're going to want to go to your settings up at the top here or on the bottom. Click that little wheel, and you can click playback speed, and you can speed it up or slow it down if you choose. Okay, so there's a plethora of information on here, as you can see. Understanding astrology for those with the basics. It's also for those who are experts in astrology, if you will. Experiential astrology, bringing it alive. There's a forum over here I wanted to share with you. They talk about some extensive information, if you will. If you're into just reading about it, personal, post your chart and tell your story even. There's 3,000 posts there. We have psychological and general astrology, 360,000 posts, if you will. That's what we have there. Just in case you want to read up on it in your beginning, you want to get your feet even more wet, right? Okay, I want to scroll your eyes. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see in the Astro Data Bank birthdays and new data. That Madonna's happy birthday, Madonna. And we have all these stars and famous people, if you will, their birthday. You can look them up. You can click on it. It'll tell you a little bit about them, blah, 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 biography, relationships. Let's go back here. I'm going to go back here. Okay, let's go to Madonna real quick. Let's see Madonna. And it shows you the chart. You can click right to her chart. Accessible. It pulls it up right away. Boom. Okay, so that's what you have there. On that, you click the sun. It brings you back to the home page. Accessible. You have the planets here, like always. It has a Astro Wiki, where you can put in here anything that you want to search astrological. Notice that they still have the current planets here, always accessible to you, so you always know where and how to memorize where the planets are currently. It's something that's very important when you're studying astrology. So it has a plethora of information in that regard. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I showed you everything that's on the front page there and how you can access free horoscopes. Even it gives you today and tomorrow, personal daily horoscopes, love, relationships, all at a glance. You just want to peruse around and see what it is that this website has to offer. It is a little bit extensive and it may be confusing, but once you start working through it, I want to share with you how to actually pull up a chart. Once you create a free registered user profile, or you decide to be a guest, which you can be, you can click right on your chart there, right? And this is another gold mine spot on this page in regards to pulling up the chart. You can click the chart drawing. It'll automatically pull up a chart with the Placidus house system as a default, and you can quickly find the wheel chart with the planets located. There's a box here that if you look here, Saturn is retrograde, 24 degrees and 57 arc minutes, if you will. And then if you go over to the box here, it'll tell you a little more specific to the arc second. It'll still show you Saturn, the symbol, as well as the literature to tell you that it's Saturn. It'll say the degree first. It'll say a shorthand for the zodiac sign. This stands for Virgo. 57 arc minutes and 20 arc seconds retrograde. So you see the 20 arc seconds is not situated over here in the circle, but if you go to the box, it's a little bit more defined, if you will. And you can click this little back area. You see this little green rectangle box here? This is where I am. If you click that, it'll bring you back to the chart selection, extended chart selection. You'll find the extended chart selection here. This is the gold mine. Okay, this is the gold mine here in that it has a plethora of chart types. This is one of the great secrets that people don't know much about, even those who have used astro.com for years, like myself. They have synastry charts in here. I didn't mean to click it. Synastry, natal with partner outside, composite chart, midpoint method, composite chart reference place method. We have multi-composite midpoint method charts, natal and progress charts, progress chart, natal and prenatal new moon. That would be the new moon before your birthday. Natal and progress new moon. I show you the new moon before your progressed birthday. The natal progressions and solar arcs combined. Tertiary progressions. What else do we have here? I'm listing these. You can do this on your own and take a look here. Solar return chart. Natal and solar return chart. Natal and lunar return chart. 9 harmonic charts. Persona chart. You know, so much that is available here to you. Persona chart by itself. Draconic chart. Comparison natal draconic chart. Local space chart. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you all these different types of charts that I don't think everyone realizes that are not on other websites, honestly. But I just want to start with the natal chart wheel to keep it simple. There's also chart drawing styles here. These are the different chart drawing styles. I want to show you a couple of them. I just discovered this one. A map of the, let's do the southern sky. Really quick here. If we just click on the chart, it'll share with us a map. So you see the constellations. So if you go outside, this is what I mean when it's astrology and astronomy and making the connection and the distinction between the two and be able to combine them as one, right? So this green little rectangle box is back to chart selection. It'll always bring you back here to this little gold mine here. I want to show you a couple other charts. It can get pretty extensive, pretty defined and detailed, if you will. As you can see this chart, for the beginner, it might look confusing. But for the novice, those are a little bit more expertise, if you will, you'll find a benefit here in how it sections the chart. It gives you the sections of the chart, you know, the compartments, if you will. It gives you the degrees inside here, the notches, so you can determine. But on the outer wheel, it gives you the distinction of the terms, if you will. Okay, really beneficial if you're wanting to pull it up real quick and get in and analyze the chart with these different methods. Okay, another one that I found that was interesting here, we have the Arabic points. Okay, we have Arabic points chart style where it tells you the arrows, the part of spirit, the part of victory, the part of fortune, if you will, if you want to look to see where you're part of fortune or you're part of necessity according to the Arabic parts in astrology. Go back to chart selection, the green rectangle box. For the sake of this one, I really use Liz Green style. This is the one that I really use. Okay, scroll our eyes down. This start date chart's marked with. You don't want to use that too much, tinker around with that. That's just referencing the date. If you will, leave that, especially for those who have just begun. You don't want to get caught into there right away. Moving forward, zodiac and houses. Okay, so there's a default. You can set a default. These are all the different house systems. Some people think that it's only the Placidus house system. Some people think that it's Placidus and equal. Some people think it's the Placidus, equal, and whole sign. But no, there's so much more. There's periphery, Alcibiades, Krusinski, Azimuth, Marinus, Polish, Pullen. You know, there's so many. You can explore these. Koch, Campanus, Rigamontis. Okay, I use equal house chart, and I sometimes use the whole sign houses, if you will. I use those in tandem, whether I'm using this program or I'm doing it in my head. However, let's use Liz Green style and let's work with the equal house system and pull that up real quick so you can always go here and see if you like what it looks like. I like what it looks like. Okay, back to chart selection. We're going to scroll down here. While we're here in the zodiac houses, you have the option for tropical astrology, sidereal astrology, or draconic astrology. Okay, so you have the option there, all on this website. If we go to default settings, you don't want to mess with that. We can leave that alone for now. Display and calculations. Now, this is another gold mine portion of the website. You can use the true node, mean mode, descending node, day formula, parts fortune. This is for the part of fortune where in astrology you find fortune, right? You can use the 6 fixed stars, and you just click it, and it's not a problem. It'll be applied. Traditional astrology options. You have the option to turn off Uranus and Pluto and just use the 7 classical planets. You can turn off Chiron if you don't want to use Chiron. You can utilize the traditional decans. Okay, let's look at the traditional decans, and you can show the chart at the top here off to the side, but if you're at the bottom, you see it has moved it down to the bottom here so you don't have to scroll up. A little convenient to make it a little bit more, a little quicker for you and accessible. So now this is the traditional decan system. When it says the traditional decan system, it's by triplicity. So Venus, Aquarius, and Gemini are all found within inside of Libra. We have Venus as the ruler, which is the ruler of Libra. It's denoting that. We have Saturn, which is the ruler of Aquarius in the traditional. And we have Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini, all located here. So we have Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Just wanted to show you that. Let's go back to chart selection. Okay, and we can go to Chaldean decans. Perhaps you're into the Chaldean astrology method. Scroll down, and we have this option down here to show the chart. And then we have it's a little bit different. They're going more with the order of the planets. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. You'll see it repeated here again. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Saturn, Jupiter. So this is the order of the Chaldean decans. You can look at your chart and where the planets are placed according to the Chaldean decans. You can use the Manilus. Some people only thought that it was traditional in Chaldeans. You can use the Manilus decan system. We got this here, so we can click this right here. If I'm going too fast, you can slow it down or speed it up. So this is just showing you the different styles of decans. Decan is means 10 days, short for deconine, which is a Greek word, means 10 days, which is 10 degrees. Okay, we'll get into that in a later video. Go back to chart selection. Just wanted to show you, we have the Egyptian terms. We can use the Egyptian terms and the Chaldean terms. We can use the Egyptian terms and the traditional decans. You can mix it up a little bit. Let's do the traditional decans and see how more extensive it'll be if you can see here. Now we have two decan systems. We have terms, rather, the Egyptian terms, and we have the traditional decans in here. And to be able to see, so if we're looking here, we see Saturn is in the Mars decan and the Venus term of Virgo. Okay, I accidentally clicked it, but if you click the chart, it'll centralize the chart so that you can, for printing, this is for printing purposes, if you will. So we're going to go back here, and then we're going to go back to chart selection. Remember, you can always click this green rectangle box, charts back to chart selection, if you will. Okay, they have the Ptolian terms, and they have zodiac release. I know some people are into zodiac releases. Let's see if we can do a combination here. Okay, we'll do the Chaldean decans with the Egyptian terms. Let's do the Chaldean terms with the Chaldean terms with the zodiacal release points. Let's see. We click here to show the chart, and it'll show us another chart here. I don't see exactly where the release, zodiacal release is sectored here. I really don't use this too much, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of what this website has to offer. Again, I've been using this for 23 years, and it's great. So over here, I want to bring your attention to the aspects. You can, sometimes when you pull up a chart, if you will, and let's draw to all objects, if you will, right? Let's even include the fixed stars. Let's see how complex this thing can really be. Because when you pull up this chart, sometimes you see these lines in here. I want to let you know that the blue lines are angles of joy, and the red lines are angles of sorrow, if you will, or challenges. Not like you're going to be sorry and sad and crying all day, but it just points to a little challenge, if you will. But let's say that you're like, oh man, this is confusing me. I don't want to see these things. You can always go back to chart selection with the green rectangle, and you can say draw no aspect lines. And let's say you want to take some of the fixed stars out. If you will, you can take the 6 fixed stars out, and then it'll give you a chart like this. Okay, let's go back. It's still a little bit confusing. I don't know why I didn't click the box. I'm going a little bit too fast. Okay, let's click that off. Let's take off the Chaldean decans. Let's take off the Chaldean terms. Let's turn off Chiron. Okay, we turned off Chiron. Maybe they'll show us the zodiacal release points here. Let's try this. So here we see that we no longer have the lines. This is for those who are learning how to read the planets and the sign, Saturn and Virgo, simply put, right? With the lines out of there so your mind is not distracted by the lines and whatnot. We're going to go back to chart selection here, and I want to share with you, what else do I have here? Oh, you can also reduce, you can reduce orbs, or you can increase them. Look at that. You can make it a 1 degree orb, right? So they show, let's draw aspect lines to all. And they'll only show aspect lines. Oh, they didn't do it. Let's go back here. Aspects to all objects. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not showing only major aspects. Let's see here, but it allows you to do orbs, so they'll show you the lines. They'll show you the lines. Let's see, why aren't they showing us the lines? Still the lines are off. I might have to refresh the page. Sometimes this happens. I'll refresh it. Go back to chart selection. Aspects to all objects. Maybe you can't do it with the orbs. Let's try that. This is something that I'm finding out. This is new here. I want to do a 1 degree orb with aspect lines to all. Nope, it doesn't let you do that. Well, look at that. You learn something new every day. I did not know that. So when you do reduce and increase orbs. Okay, we'd have to tinker around with that a little bit more, but it allows you the orbs. We'd have to figure that out a little bit more. There's so much information on here. Even though I've been using this for 23 years, there's some things that I use frequently. There's some things that I've never touched, but I do know where to access them. Okay, let's scroll down here to additional objects because there's another diamond here. Some people are into asteroids and some of the asteroids that are commonly used and some of the asteroids that are not commonly used. On this website, you have an option of 23,279 different names that you can select from. It's alphabetized. You can manually put the entry if you know the number. Like, for example, Sirius is 433,227. If you put that number in here, 433,227, it'll record that. You can click these different. If you click them singularly or by themselves, it won't let you get more than one. But if you click on Chiron or Chironate and you hold the shift bar down, you can click multiple. And I'm holding the shift key plus clicking it with my mouse, if you will, and that's what that does. Show the chart, and then it'll show you. It's not showing on there. Why not? Sometimes you have to take your time and make sure that you're don't have some of these boxes selected, because if you do, then it won't give you all of what you're asking for. Okay, here we go now. So we had to select some of those boxes off in order to get this. Now this is a little confusing maybe to the beginner, but it's sharing with us not only the zodiac or the planets that are commonly used, but it's also showing us like Pallas, Eris, Ceres, Chiron, Vesta, Philo, Juno, which is meaningful relationships, if you will, where you have meaningful relationships, so on and so forth. And you can always reference and go back to chart selection. Let's say that you make a mistake and you wanted to click the home, you wanted to go back to the home screen for a minute. You go back to the home screen and it'll bring you here. Let's say you wanted to read an article and you wanted to get back to that chart that you were looking at. You go to user profile and you just select it. You might have to do it again, go back here to the extended chart selection and then do this information again, however, but you'll still get here. But the extended chart selection, and it looks like this, I'm just going to go back one. This page here is the diamond where you find the extended chart selection. You can be reminded by these 4 squares that are on the backdrop of this circular chart. Create the chart drawing of your choice. You have choices, right? So I wanted to share that with you. Let's go back to the home screen, if you will. Let's go to My Astro, user profile, and click back on your chart or my chart. I also wanted to share with you this ephemeris that it has here. Now this is another gold mine here. And the gold mine in this regard is ephemerides that you can use. You can get a PDF of it, dwarf planets, hypothetical planets, asteroids, a 10-year ephemeris for 10 years. You can select and take your pick. So we can even go back all the way to 1776. And we can get a calendric format of 1776, and we can look at the entire year in a calendar form. And this is printable. You know, you can make like your own little calendar, if you will. If you wanted to talk about a year in one of your blogs or something like that to somebody, you have access there. Okay. You can even go into the future. Let's go into the future. 3000, the year 3000. Let's go there. Okay, and it'll give us another calendar, if you will, of your choice. each and every month with the planetary stations. You can zoom in, you can highlight it, to focus on a certain area. Okay, I wanted to share that with you. Now, let's go back to round charts for the moment. And I want to use me as an example. I'm going to go to Liz Green style. And I'm going to go to equal. That's what I like to use. That's what I'm used to using. I'm not going to tinker around with any of these things. Here, let's get Chiron in there. Ceres, Pallas, Juno, Idris. Okay, we're just going to do that just to show you how to do that. And I wanted to go to special charts. Because here there's a special, there's just like it says, they're special. Now, why is it special? Because there's all these different types of charts. There's another golden spot of a bunch of charts that we have here at our access here. We have transit calendar for 3 years. We have progression calendar for 1 year, for those that are interested in that. We have astro maps, world maps. This is more along the lines of astrocartography. We have the Perins and star phases charts, right? We have a biorhythmic chart. For the females, we have the lunar phase fertility chart. This is diamond. This is diamond to be able to look at your... It's really not going to be beneficial for me, perhaps. But it'll still give me periods. Everybody has periods, don't they? Not like everyone doesn't bleed during them, but, we all have periods and cycles and stages in our life. Okay, let's go back to chart selection. Let's go to equal, because I usually use equal. Three-dimensional chart. Let's see what that looks like. A little look-see. A 3D chart. Look at that. So there's all these different styles that I don't think can compare. Any other website doesn't compare. Your one-stop shop, everything is right here. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you, though. This is a secret that I haven't seen anybody really talk about. And I wanted to share this with you. This is a secret. Shh, don't tell nobody. No, I'm just kidding. Tell whoever you want. So you can do a personal sound horoscope. This is awesome. This is awesome. And the benefit to this personal sound horoscope is that you might not be able to hear the sound on this one, but you have a start. It shows you, it gives you a sound, and it shows you the geometric shape of your chart in relation to the transits and how things are aligning up. And so you can look here and see the date, if you will. See, this is January. See, it's jumping around a little bit. You can slow it down, the tempo. You can speed it up. It's pointing to the aspects. You can rewind it. You can have it restart. Wait, I forgot it. I mixed up. It's a good way in which to get in tune with your astrological chart and get a visual picture of what's going on, as well as a sound. We know that those two things are connected and are beneficial and assist with learning. All right, so I want to share that with you. We still have the green rectangle. We can always go back to the chart selection and find this here. Let's go to astrocartography chart, because we can go anywhere in the world or see how the planetary shadows would be cast. Let's go to Russia for a moment. And we can see that if we were in Russia, it would show us the planetary configuration and the shadows and where they would be cast over the different parts of Russia. If you will, we zoom in. It can give us a map. Now, this map is not as specific and detailed if you really want to get into the cities, but some of the greater areas, the bigger areas, the well-known areas are here. But what you do have at the top here is you have the planets, and it shares with you the line, the shadow rather, that casts and gives you the area. That's beneficial, super beneficial as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's zoom out. And then we can always go back to this chart selection. So you definitely, there's a plethora of information here that you can play around with here. We have the image size of the chart. Let's go back to round wheel real quick. Let's go to Liz Green style. I just want to share this with you here. The image size, quality, landscape if possible. I think 75. This is the smallest. It's 63%. This is for printing purposes. That chart is kind of tiny. You'd have to zoom in there. You know what I mean? And then the pixels get kind of distorted when you zoom in on that, as opposed to doing 100%. But if you have a certain kind of computer and you want a smaller chart for the resolution, you're going to want 100% for the best resolution. Okay, click back to the chart selection. Let's see here. Now, I want to share this with you. Let's say that you select all this information in here, and then you click the chart. Wait, I don't know what happened there. Let's click back. let's say that you put it and style it however you want it, and you show the chart, right? And you're like, oh, I put PM, 9:14 p.m. I didn't want 9:14 p.m. So you can go to edit right here. You can go to edit, right? And then you can change it to 9 a.m., right? This was already in here. I wanted to share this with you too. This is another secret that not many people know, because they have the hour and they have the minute. But you can also put, if you put shift colon and you put, let's say, 44 seconds, right? This is 9 a.m., 9:14 a.m. and 44 seconds, especially for those who really get in the precise degree for prediction, right? You click continue, and you're with this feature, you're able to tinker with the clock, if you will, or the wheel, and have perfect alignments to the degree, arc minute, and arc second. So if we zoom in here a little bit, let's do the quality a little bit bigger, because let's go to 100% so that we can see what we're doing. Go to 100% quality, show the chart, and I'm going to share this feature with you. So in this chart here, so now we got the AM, we made a mistake before, perhaps. We had PM, we got it to AM now, life is good. Okay, I want to show this with you, show this to you. The moon is at 7 degrees and 47 arc minutes of Cancer in this chart. Now this box down here at the bottom, and as well as with this little step pyramid grid, I want to share with you that the moon is in Cancer, 7 degrees, 46 arc minutes, and 40 arc seconds. So in the box, it gives it to you. It gives you the placement, the planetary station to the arc second, which is dynamic. Down here we have the ascendant, the midheaven, the second house, the 11th house, the third house, and the 12th house. And they show you the succedent houses, if you will. Okay. Now, if we zoom our eyes, scroll our eyes over here, I want to share this with you. So you see the sun and the moon, kind of like a multiplication table, if you will. You line up the moon, you line up the sun, and you see this triangle. That means a trine. Now, this 2 up here is how many degrees, and the S is separating. So this relationship between the sun and the moon is a trine by 2 degrees, and it's a separating. Let me show you what I mean by separating. So if you look at the sun and you look at the position of the moon, you can see that 6 degrees of Pisces and 6 degrees of Cancer would be exact. But the moon is at 7 degrees and 47 arc minutes, which is on its way to 2. Mind you, be mindful that it is an estimate, and this rectangle down here, you won't get 2.2. This is a roundabout because of the space, if you will. So I just wanted to share with you that. Let's go to the sun and Venus. Okay, so the sun is at 6 degrees of Pisces. Venus is at 18 degrees of Aries. So it's semi-sextile or sesquadrate, I think. But I want to share this with you. It's a -3 approaching. That means in 3 degrees it will approach. So it's negative because it's before the exact, if you will. But we can look at this symbol real quick. If you come to this position on this website and you look at a symbol and you're like, oh, I don't know what that is. No problem. No worries. We can scroll up here to the home screen, or we could have clicked these 3 buttons over here. We can go to All About Astrology, Understanding Astrology, Astrology Basics, Introduction to Astrology, and we can go to Aspects, right? And we go to the aspects and it'll share us. Oh, it's the semi-square or octile, 45 degrees, disharmonious. Okay, so we can go like that, and then we might have to do it again to pull up our chart, but it's all good. User profile, click on me, or we could have hit the back arrow even. Extend the chart selection. Let's just go to default for the sake of time, if you will. I want to move quickly as I can. So the sesquiquadrate, right? And it's 3 degrees therefrom, because 6 degrees of Pisces to 6 degrees of Aries would be 30 degrees, right? So we got 6 degrees plus 15, right? So we got 5, 10, 15. 15 would be right here. I think it's 20 degrees. So it's approaching, if you will. So it lets you know when aspects are separating and approaching down here in the grid. So these angles, if you will, if you forget what they are, like this one, for example. Can we click it? Wow, we learned something new. I didn't know that it did. Oh no, I just did that to center the chart, so in case for printing purposes. Okay, we're gonna go back here. Okay, that's the astro ephemeris tables. We're gonna go back here. We'll minimize that. Okay, let's go here for the moment. Let's go here. So this little box here, this little grid, is a cool little way in which to look at the elements and the modalities. So there's cardinal, fixed, and mutable. There's fire, air, earth, water. So you can follow it up: fire, fixed, or north node, excuse me. Earth, fixed. We have Chiron there, and we can look in the chart, and we can actually see this. There it is, Chiron at 9 degrees of Taurus, if you will, and that's what you have there. And you're able to see your conglomeration of planets and where they're located. Let's say you're more of a fire individual, then the planets would be located here. If you're more of an earth, you know what I mean, which is more practical. It looks like this is a well balanced. This is a fire and earth balance. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fire and water are well balanced. This individual has a more earth within them. So this is another chart here that's a little tool that you can use that's beneficial. One of the things that I like about astro.com is these notches, these little notches, because you can count. You can count these notches. When you zoom in, I think that's as far as it'll let us zoom in. That's fine. Zoom out. Okay, I like the notches because then you can count and get a reference idea of where exactly the planet is, because it has like a little line that is pointing to and showing you what line it's on. So there's that. And we can go back to chart selection. I think I shared everything here really quick. I wanted to share this website because I've been using it for so long. It's been so beneficial. Let's go back to the home page for a quick second. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, smash the subscription button. I appreciate you. I hope you've enjoyed this video and look forward to the next video next week.